Hello friends and welcome to the tutorial. Today we are going to be drawing a turtle swimming through the ocean using the Picasso Tab and Sketchbook Pro. Let's begin. I am starting on a new layer and I am picking the pencil tool to create my sketch. I also like to sketch in different colours each time, so today I have picked a dark blue. To begin the turtle, I am starting with the top of his shell, drawing a hilltop shape and then continuing the right hand side line down and curving it a little outwards as I go. From the left hand side I add in a series of straight lines to draw the front of the shell and then draw a long curved line to join the sections together. This will act as the main outline of the turtle's shell. I then draw in the back flippers and then move up to work on the front flipper. Starting the top of the flipper up by the front edge of the shell, I draw it in, coming out and curving down on either side, curving one side inwards and the other side outwards as I go, eventually joining both sides together down at the bottom. From there I drew in the rest of the body, and then the other flipper peeking out from the other side of the turtle. Starting at the top of the shell, I drew in the neck and continued my line along and down to form the head, and then joined that line down with the rest of the body. Now that I have the main outline in place, I go in and I erase parts to neaten up the lines and to get the shapes that I want. It's easier to work from a rough sketch first and then go in to refine the details and redo any areas. I also added in details into his face, body and shell, drawing small lines into the flippers and all across the shell. You can add as little or as many of these details as you would like. Once the turtle was finished, I used the transform tool to centre him on the artboard. Then I moved on to sketch in the background. I am working here on a new layer as I wanted the ability to be able to move the turtle around on his own. To start the background, I placed a square box behind the turtle and then drew in two rocks in the foreground before adding in a variety of underwater plants, corals and bubbles. To outline the drawing, I duplicated both the turtle and background layer, placing the opacity down on both. Then I created two more layers, one for the turtle's lines and one for the background's lines. Placing different elements on separate layers is usually a good idea, especially if you want to be able to move things around afterwards. Working in the new layers, I simply traced all the lines using the fountain pen tool and with the predictive stroke tool turned on to help smooth out the lines. To begin colouring, I duplicated both the background and foreground layers and then locked down the duplicated layers. I am colouring in the original line art layers for both the turtle and the background sections. Then I simply paint bucketed in various colours into the drawing. For the turtle I chose a few different browns for the shell, greens for his body and flippers. For any sections that I wanted to colour that were not encased by outlines, I used the fountain pen tool. For the background I chose a range of colours: pinks, light reds, oranges, grey for the rocks and yellow. Then on a new layer I placed a light blue square box behind the drawing. Once all the base colours were in, the next step was to add in some details. I am using a simple yet effective block style of shading. I used the fountain pen and picked a darker or lighter colour than the section that I was working in, and then simply placed down lines where I wanted the highlight or the shadows. I placed highlights all over the turtle's shell and large shadow lines in between the back flippers, as well as highlights on the outside of each flipper. I completed the process in the background as well, adding in larger sections of darker colours into the flowers and coral. Even a few simple lines like this can make a big difference to the drawing, and if you place all of these details on a separate layer, you can easily erase any that you don't like without disturbing the rest of the drawing. The final step was to once more create a new layer and then add in some bubbles using the circle tool and place a white line all the way around the turtle. With that, the drawing was complete. I hope you enjoyed drawing the turtle today. Thank you for watching.